There are certain times in our lives that are just awkward. Times that we find ourselves in between something that we're comfortable with and something that we've yet to encounter. Something that we know and something that's unknown. I think my earliest memory of an in-between time would have been coming to the family Thanksgiving table. At 13, I was too old to sit at the kiddie table, but I wasn't big enough to sit at the adult table. There really wasn't a place for me in that in-between time in my life. In-between is awkward. We struggle with it. We try to make sense of it, but the problem is to complete the process of growing. You have to let go of something, and you have to grab onto something else. And it's that period in between that you're floating between the two that gives you pause. As Father Rick mentioned, last Thursday was Ascension Day. Ascension always falls on a Thursday in Eastertide. It's 40 days after Easter. It's interesting how that number 40 shows up and repeats itself over and over again. In Genesis, we're told it rained for 40 days and 40 nights. In the Gospel, we're told that Jesus fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. Hence, there are 40 days in Lent, with the exception of Sundays. Sundays don't count in Lent. My daughters pointed that out to me when they gave up chocolate, that they could have chocolate on Sundays. And they were right. And now we get this 40 days after Easter. But the season of Easter is 50 days. And that leaves that awkward period from Ascension to Pentecost that kind of is like an orphan. You're just wanting one thing, but you're not quite there yet and ready for it. Imagine the conversation Jesus must have had with his apostles on Ascension. Hey guys, it's time for me to leave. Where are you going? It's time for me to return to the Father. What, you're abandoning us? We've just gotten used to it. We've just gotten used to the risen Christ. We've just gotten used to living into this resurrection, and now you're taking off and leaving us? Guys, it'll be fine. I got this covered. Don't worry about it. What do you mean you got this covered? I'm sending you a companion, an advocate. I'm sending you the Holy Spirit. Okay, but when? Well, it'll take a little while in shipping. It's going to take about 10 days before it'll get here. What do you mean 10 days? What do we do until then? You want us to go back to the upper room and hide out? You want us to wait until we hear word that the Holy Spirit is finally here? And then who's going to be the first one of us to go out and find out? I'm not going to be first. Maybe you're going to be first, but I'm not going to be first. You can see the awkwardness of this 10 days between Ascension and Pentecost. But Jesus isn't flustered. The people are terrified. But at the same time, they're also a bit excited. He's giving us something. He's giving us somebody who's going to take care of us, protect us, guide us. This Holy Spirit. Come, Holy Spirit. Before you can get to Pentecost, you have to let go at Ascension. Before you can embrace the Holy Spirit, you have to let go of Jesus and Jesus ascend to the Father. I saw a wonderful meme this past week that said, Ascension is the day that the church celebrates Jesus starting to work from home. I like that. That makes sense. especially in a post-COVID world, doesn't it? Jesus working from home. He didn't really abandon you. He's just operating from a different place now. Letting go and grabbing on. And what do you do with that in-between time? My son, I named Christian. Had I known that I was going to be a priest later, I probably wouldn't have named him Christian. That's a big burden for a child to carry. But nonetheless, he's Christian. And I can remember when Christian was a little over 4 years old, he was riding a bicycle that had training wheels. And now he was ready for a big bike. No training wheels. And he wanted me to help teach him how to ride the bicycle. And I thought, okay, am I ready for this? And so I can remember growing up, learning how to ride a bicycle. We didn't have helmets. They have helmets, they have elbow guards, they have everything. So, when I fell, you just got scraped up and got over it. I didn't want that for my son. And so I spent a few minutes, took the training wheels off of his two-wheeler bike, got him on the thing, he had his helmet on, and I was realizing that at some point I'm going to go alongside him and then I'm going to have to let go. Now, I used to be an engineer before I was a priest, and I thought maybe I could explain to him the physics behind what it takes to ride a bicycle. It's really nothing more than the conservation of angular momentum. Yeah, that's not going to work. And so I was trying to put it in lay terms that he would understand. Christian, the faster you pedal, the easier it is to get your balance. The easier to balance, the farther you'll go. So whatever you do, keep on pedaling. Okay, Dad. And so he gets onto the bicycle. He's got his feet on the pedals. I'm holding the seat. I'm balancing him. Now, I'm a lot younger back then. I'm in my early 30s. I don't think I could do it now at 68. But I told him that I would run beside him. We started walking, started jogging. Eventually, we're into a full run. And when the right moment came, I just let go. Realizing that once he was comfortable, once he found his balance, once he found a sense of, I can do this, his world was going to change. My world was going to change. And that little 4-year-old boy who's now riding a bicycle, I'm going to have to let go and allow him to explore some of the world that I don't get to see. I had to learn to let go, and I had to learn to grab on to something brand new. See, in life, we live a series going from crisis to crisis to crisis. And each one of these mini crises is a process of letting go of what we knew, accepting something brand new that we're not used to yet, and holding on to that. And it's that in-between time where we're floating back and forth that is both frightening and exhilarating. We like both of them. Early in my priesthood, when I was first ordained, the parish that I was assigned to, I was really blessed. There were 4 retired Episcopal priests in the congregation. And I was the young newbie, wet behind the ears. And these 4 priests just surrounded me and brought me under their wings. And I would have coffee or lunch or meetings with different ones, sometimes more than one, and they would freely share their experiences, their wisdom, to help me move into what was now my new vocation as a priest. I realized what they were doing was letting go of their active ministry and now moving into the twilight of their priesthood, which they were giving away to anyone who was willing to accept it. Father Nick Abraham was a character in every sense of the word. Father Nick had one good eye. He had a glass eye. He was shot out when he was a little boy with a BB gun from his brother. And Father Nick, you'd look at him and you'd try to figure out, all right, which eye are you looking at me out here? And he would give me these little gems of wisdom. And there were things that would stick with you, and you would wonder, how did he know that? And he pointed out to me, he said, you know, Mark, we have the best job in the world. Why is that, Nick? He said, because we get to be present at the most important times in people's lives. What do you mean, Nick? He said, we get to be there to hatch them, match them, and dispatch them. Wow, you're right. And in between the hatching, the matching, and the dispatching, we get to feed them. Wow. I was in the process of letting go of my engineering life and grabbing on to my ordained life. It was transformative. And here I am now, 32 years later, and I look back, and I've done a little over 600 baptisms, a little over 500 funerals, and a little over 450 weddings. I got to be present at some of the most important parts of people's lives. And then I got to help feed them spiritually in between. Jesus knew exactly what he was doing on the ascension. He could have hung around. He could have hung around another 10 days till the Holy Spirit got there. But that would have made people lazy. That would have given them a sense of entitlement. And this is a relationship that has to go back and forth, working both ways. This is a teaching moment where you get to learn what it is to trust and then let go, fly across, and grab onto something totally new, totally unexperienced before. 10 days. 10 days to turn your world upside down. 10 days to think about all the things that you thought were right. 10 days to think about all the bad decisions you've made in your life. 10 days to say, it's never too late to start again. As I was preparing for this homily this week, I started thinking about you, the people of Good Shepherd. And I realized you're in an in-between time. Your previous rector has retired. There is a priestly presence for your spiritual needs. Father Rick and I will help out occasionally as well. But you're waiting for your new priest to arrive. He's a deacon now, he'll be priested shortly. And this is an in-between time. And this is an opportunity for you. You can allow fear to take over your heart and turn your spirit sour. Or you can allow joy, anticipation, and hope to fill your life. And welcome Deacon Adam when he gets here. Because trust me, he's thinking about what he's giving up to and letting go of. He's letting go of the last 3 years where he's lived in a faith community at seminary. And he's trusting his bishop, who has asked him to come to Good Shepherd, to be among you. And you don't even know him yet. This is a wonderful, wonderful time for you to let go of the past and grab onto the future. This is a wonderful time in between for you to step up and live deeper into your faith. And when Adam gets here, do everything in your power to grab on, hold on, hold on.